Look, so today is, or yesterday if I'm late, but today or yesterday was the 8th birthday of my personal favorite game ever. I'm sure a lot of you guys feel the same or similar in it being one of the best games, one of your favorites. That is probably the number one reason most of you guys are at my channel. So today I wanted to talk about my personal experience with the game, right? I would like to one day do like a full-on essay retrospective video about the game, but I would like some time to pass before I start that video. So if you're new to this game, this might be a good video for you because I'm not gonna really like spoil anything per se. But anyway, thank you guys all for returning back to the channel. I appreciate it so much. This is just going to be like a nice little story time video. I may not even put too much footage over it. Who knows? But anyway, let's get started with the video. Happy birthday to Hollow Knight. Today the Knight is 8 years old, and he is way bigger than any of us really thought he was going to be, probably. And he's still growing. He might get up to he might get up to pale king height one day. Who knows? Wanted to talk about when I first found this game. And it was because of PlayStation. They had given it to every subscriber, for their little free games of the month type thing. And I did like I did with most games that like looked half decent. I downloaded it and I never checked it out again. And then one day I did. I don't know why I decided to finally check it out. Who knows? It might have been because I've been seeing people talk about it in YouTube videos. Oh, hey Banana. Banana, say hi. Say hi. Okay. But yeah, it might have been because of YouTubers, recommending it. Either way, I turned it on. And like most people, I feel like I didn't get very far in it. Anyway, at the time, I wasn't very familiar with indie game culture at all. Like I played Limbo way back in the day, and I had played Inside on my phone like a few years before that, but I wasn't even really playing games that much. I had bought a console in 2020 basically. I started buying video games again and playing them for during COVID, and that's when I kind of really got into indie games again, or, into them for the first time. Stardew was really one of my first indie games. And I remember just booting that up for the first time and being like, wow, this is just a Super Nintendo game? Like, what the hell is this? I had never really played a pixel game in, 15 years. I don't know. And so I just wasn't, I wasn't familiar with that. People were doing a lot of old style games, or using 2D side scrollers even, really. Like, I was just so unknowledged in gaming culture at the time. And I remember just thinking, wow, like that's super interesting that they would do this like 2D side scrolling. At the time I was just like, wow, it's just like a dark Mario. It's all I could relate it to. And I think I had just finished the game Control, which is a really amazing game actually. And I think I was just looking for something more modern at the time. Fast forward, right, like a year or two. And I think just by pure programming, I had known what Hollow Knight was. And I was buying Christmas presents, right? And I bought Hollow Knight as like a little card for a roommate. And I remember just being like, oh, I know this is a good game. I know that this is a great game. Everyone loves it. You should check it out. But I had never played it myself. And it's just from YouTubers. It's just from YouTubers telling me over and over and over again that this is one of the best games ever. That it's so cool. It's so good. And so I knew it was a good game. And it became one that was basically on my list. But I just still had no desire to play it myself, I guess. But at that time, right, I was familiar with indies. I was playing Stardew a shit ton. I was playing Celeste. I was playing Spiritfarer and a few other ones, Owlboy. And I was in love with indie games. I didn't want anything to do with anything AAA, modern, anything. I just wanted these life-changing indie games. I had indie games that were making me cry, and just from being so emotional and great. And I was just like, all right, look, there is a whole other world of games out here, and I need to dive in. And so eventually, Eventually, I re-downloaded Hollow Knight and decided to push through. And it was hard. It was fucking hard. I'm just such an idiot when it comes to games in general. And I rush a little bit too much. And Hollow Knight was terrible for me at first. Actually, I also want to just drift off for a second and say that I had never played a Souls-like game at the time. I didn't even know what Souls-like were. I had heard that phrase, but I just never really, never really looked into the Souls games that much. And I've now played Dark Souls 1 and Elden Ring and watched many, many Dark Souls essays. And I feel like most people have this experience playing Dark Souls for the first time. And I hear about it all the time in the videos. And I really think that maybe I'm a rare case. Maybe comment below if you played Hollow Knight before Dark Souls, because I did that and it really kind of not messed up, but it made the Dark Souls experience probably not hit the same, because I'm playing Dark Souls 1 for the first time, right? Like in the last few months. And I'm like, wow, this is just so much like Hollow Knight. Oh, wait, it can't be like Hollow Knight, because Hollow Knight is like Dark Souls. Anyway, I just thought it was kind of strange that I had gotten the Souls-like experience from Hollow Knight. But I loved it. I loved it. That was it. Everything that people describe the Dark Souls 1 experience of being just so hard but so addicting, but it also teaches you, how to just overcome things, how to, it shows you how a game can teach you the world without telling you a thing about it. And I got all that from Hollow Knight for the first time. So I'm playing Hollow Knight, right? And I get to the first little mini boss, right? Just the first big regular enemy. I'll put him up on the screen. But yeah, I'm gonna come out and be honest and say I died about 40 times to this dude. I just kept I kept dying. It was very sad. But honestly, running back to him and trying over and over again gave me that first Dark Souls boss experience of just no, I have to, and I don't know, I'm sure plenty of other games I just kept dying, but it's or there's not too many games that will just stop you that intensely at the beginning. But after dying 40 times to him, I made it past. And then I'm right at False Knight, which was another experience because, I beat False Knight fairly quickly in 10 or so tries. And that's when the realization happened of, wow, they really just taught me how to fight this dude before I even got there. That mini boss is just a mini version of False Knight anyway, for the most part. So it's or I just had this realization of wow, this game taught me how to play it without telling me a thing. And it was the first time I experienced something like that, at least that I really realized, and at least that I clocked in my head. And so, I pushed through, I get to Hornet. That sucked. Hornet sucked. Everybody knows that experience. Hornet probably stops everybody for a little bit, unless you're a pro game or whatever. But I'm playing through it. I'm getting hooked. I'm on Hornet. I'm pushing through. I make it to Queen Station. And then out of nowhere, I'm just kidding. It wasn't out of nowhere. I'd been waiting for years for a certain game to drop. And in the midst of me finally sinking into Hollow Knight, this game drops. So I, of course, put Hollow Knight to the back burner. But it hurt. It hurt my soul having to put Hollow Knight to the back burner, because I was like, wow, I just really love this game. But this little game came out of nowhere. And it was Tears of the fucking Kingdom. And it dropped a few days after I started actually really sinking into Hollow Knight, and it just hurt my soul. And so I dove right into Tears of the Kingdom, and it took about 2 months of my life away easily. And then, of course, about 2 months after Tears of the Kingdom comes out, we get another game, a game that I'd probably been waiting even longer for. Pikmin 4. I personally love Pikmin so much. It's one of my favorite games. So Pikmin 4 was huge for me. And it again took another That took probably about 2-3 weeks from my time. And honestly, I had no idea that there was like this history of Hollow Knight releasing right before Breath of the Wild. So to me, it's really ironic that it did the same thing to me. What is that? Like 6 years later, 5 years later? Holy shit, it's been... Wait, no, was it 2023? Yeah, it was 2023. So it's like 6 years later. Anyway, the same thing happened to me that happened with Hollow Knight, where Hollow Knight comes out and then Breath of the Wild comes out like a week later. And it overshadows Hollow Knight, and it makes... Nobody even put it on a 2017 list, really, or at least like game of the. I don't know. You know, I don't know how much like praise it got that year. I think it started getting more the next year, but eventually I was done with Tears of the Kingdom and I was done with Pikmin 4, and I knew I had Hollow Knight. I was ready. As soon as I was ready to dive back into the game, I did, and I literally started to feel at home at Hollow Nest like I was before. It was great. It was easy to jump back into. Didn't even hurt. I didn't forget too much because there wasn't even much to forget. I didn't even get to City of Tears yet. So like really I didn't even know what like the main objective of the game was yet. And so I started back up. I'm in Queen Station. And at this time, believe it or not, I was making content. I made some Pikmin videos at the time, but I started to record Hollow Knight because I thought, you know, maybe I should record this. And I recorded for about 2 hours. And I found that footage like a few months ago, and it was really sad to watch because after about 2 hours, at the end of it, you know, it's like it's where I shut the video off, and you can literally hear me say, "Who on earth wants to see another Hollow Knight playthrough?" God, it kills me thinking about it because I was literally thinking like no one is going to care about me talking about this game. Like who would care about me talking about Hollow Knight? Everyone talks about this game. There is no room for me. And look at it now. I'm kind of a Hollow Knight YouTuber, I guess. And you know, just a quick runoff again. Like please, if there's anyone out there thinking about making some content about a game, whether it's popular, whether it's not, both of those shouldn't stop you. If a game is too popular, that shouldn't stop you from making content on it because it means that people want to see stuff about it. If a game isn't popular, there still is good reason to make content on that game because you could be filling a void that is untapped. But regardless of it, if you're thinking about making content, just do it. Just do it and try it. You can always delete it. You can always delete it. If you really end up hating it, you can delete it. But you should at least try. And I promise you'll be surprised because you might just end up randomly clicking with some people, you know? Who knows? Anyway, I'm back in Hollow Knight, and to be honest, the rest is history. You guys know what the rest is. You guys know once you hit City of Tears, you're like, wow, this game is fucking gorgeous. It's so cool. Why is there this rainy city underground, but the music is so amazing? And then you get to the Soul Master fight, and you're like, wow, this fight is amazing. That's one of my favorite boss fights now. But the rest is history. You guys know what the Hollow Knight experience is like after that. And I could go in about how amazing the art style is, how it has this like Tim Burton-esque cute and scary feel, or about how amazing the combat is for being such a simple yet demanding system that lets you like grow with it at like a perfect pace, to be honest. I can't think of any game that has pacing like Hollow Knight. I could also go on about how God Home is the smartest and most innovative way to add replayability to your game in a way that doesn't make regular people, like the casual players, feel like they're missing out on something if they don't do it. But also it gives like the people who fall madly in love with the game like a reason to keep playing and pushing and trying to do something that feels impossible. But I'm not going to go on about all that stuff because there's a million videos explaining why, or, you know, of people talking about why Hollow Knight is so amazing and you know, critiquing it, you know, giving retrospectives on it. But I'm not ready to make that video yet, and I will one day. So instead, I'm just going to end this video here and say, Happy birthday, Hollow Knight. Congratulations to Team Cherry for making such an amazing game. I think I can speak for most of us on this channel and say that we love you, Team Cherry. And I can definitely speak for all of us and say that we love Hollow Knight. Thank you all for watching this, and I hope to be back soon. And if you're still here, that means you care. And that means that you might care that I have a new Cherry Time episode dropping with Windet very soon. Very, very soon. It'll be my next video, most likely. If not, my next video is going to be one that I'm working on right now, and it's just me talking about a few games that I've been playing lately and what I think about them. So, anyway, hope you all are doing well, and I will see you soon. Bye.